We've gone from the west coast of Hawaii all the way to the east coast of Florida to prove to you that sub-2 and creative finance deals are being done all over this beautiful country of ours. Today, we're going to prove that somebody that can move from Ohio to Jacksonville, Florida can also do zero down deals on the beach. Let's meet Mandy.
Hi, I'm Mandy Konecki, and today I am going to show you a property that I bought $0 down with none of my own money.
Let's go.
Welcome to my favorite property. This is Oceanfront. We did light renovations because we obviously went with the beachy theme. It's a 2-bed, 2-bath. This right here is the bedroom number 1 for the guest bedrooms. We did a king size bed so it's more comfortable and accommodates more people. I think bigger beds, value add. And then the shared bathroom in the hallway here. And then over here on the right is the master bedroom with its own private bathroom. We did a little bit of wallpaper here to kind of give it more of a beachy sunrise feel. And again, we also went with a king size bed in here as well because we're looking for comfort and peace so people can enjoy their vacation here. I came from a hospitality background, so I'm very focused on making sure people are comfortable and happy and healthy and love enjoying their vacation. So my number one reason for doing Airbnbs and short-term rentals is so I can help families create memories that last forever. So tangible things come and go, but being able to provide memories for families is my favorite part of the business. And then back here is the very open kitchen. We didn't do anything here with renovations regarding the counters and things, but we did put new flooring in. The cabinets are fairly new. Painted the shiplap ceilings, which you'll see here in a second. And my favorite part of all is this view. This right here was worth every single minute of stress. I don't want to say money because I didn't put any of my own money into this, but right here doesn't get much better than this. So he fully remodeled it before we bought it, but I couldn't help myself and had to rip it all out. The last thing I have to do is these counters.
Yeah, I love the planks.
Me too. These are tile.
Oh, this is tile.
It's heavy as shit.
I guess that's what you would have to do though, because you've got so much humidity in the air here.
Yeah, and all the damn sand.
Gosh, this is a great layout.
Yeah, this is the best unit in this building because the neighbor unit doesn't have the same view because of this huge building next door.
Gosh, this is so great. Dude, I'm telling you, this is a slept-on city. Like, this beach is better than, I feel like, Miami Beach.
Really?
Well, look how long and flat this is compared to Miami's a little bit, it's shorter. You don't have the same vibe here.
I mean, we don't have the white sand like the West Coast
Dude,
does,
I want more sand. I want it flat. I want to be able to have activities out here. You guys got volleyball and all sorts of things. I'm sure there's parts of Miami Beach that have that, but yeah. This is and your water's just as warm, right? Mm-hmm.
Yep, and then this right here is a little community park.
This is dope. And
then 4 blocks down here is a pavilion. So
is the primary renter an Airbnb person here? Yeah.
3-night minimum.
Guys, I know I talk a lot of crap about Airbnb, but there are Airbnbs that make sense. If you're oceanfront right here, you've got a great view of the ocean and you're in an area that people could rent. You probably get renters all year round,
all year.
Right? Yeah, that's an Airbnb. Where I learned how to do Airbnb 7 years ago was the wrong way, which was basically if it looks like it's gonna cash flow, buy it. And the reality is when the economy changes, people are still gonna rent this unit because of where it's at. It's a special, very, very unique location. This is dope. Look at you.
Thanks. This is my favorite one. $0 down.
It's because you're smart.
And that's what I told him. I was like, I wasn't even gonna make the offer. We had just quit my W-2. It wasn't bankable. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna throw him this bogus offer is what I said. Now, it only made sense for everybody. And they won because they were retiring early in their 50s, wanted cash flow so he could golf.
And no
She's
management.
a CPA, so she knows deferred taxes. I paid them $25,000 more than they're asking. Quick close, obviously no appraisals,
wow.
Inspection.
What would you say to somebody that says, hey, you overpaid, you paid $25,000 more than what they wanted? You overpaid. What would you say to them?
I paid for terms and the low interest rate and not having to go to a bank and any other contingencies.
Yeah, so let's think about this, guys. So she paid $25,000 over asking, but did she really have to pay that $25,000? I would argue no. Who paid more money? The person that went and put 30% down at the bank or 20% down at the bank, or heck, if you have a great lender, 10% down at the bank. You got a 6% interest rate, or the person that does no money down, pays $25,000 on paper over, but gets a way lower interest rate. Who actually paid more money? The bonehead that used traditional finance that got a great deal on the purchase price. I would rather get a great deal on the terms than a purchase price all day long, and that's exactly what she did. Plus, you appealed to the buyer or to the seller's wishes. You found their bunnies, you solved their problem. Oh, you want a high purchase price, you want to sell it to somebody you trust, and you also don't want to pay capital gains.
A quick sale, monthly payments.
Freaking awesome. What does this unit rent for yearly?
Between $350 and $450 per night. I actually don't know what it's bringing in. I got to do my taxes.
Could this bring in like 75 grand a year?
Easily.
Okay. Could you do 100 grand a year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, 100% occupied, and then just the added benefits of having surfboards and rentals and chairs, walking distance. Activities are 4 blocks away.
You give that to people that are renting, or
Yes.
do they go rent them from other places?
I provide that as
Okay.
a value add.
How much management do you put into this?
Honestly, not very much. I have it on autopilot.
Okay,
Auto
sweet.
responses, bookings, pricing, dynamics, responses. So I don't really have much time in it at all.
Okay, so is this a very rare opportunity, or do you have other units somewhere around here?
I actually have 2 other units within this same building.
Okay, so this is not an isolated thing. Like, you could buy other units. There's other opportunities around here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what's your plan in this city? Are you wanting to do more of this, or are you wanting to do more of other stuff?
I'm actually planning to do a lot of things. So I currently fix and flip. I was getting rid of a lot of my long-term rentals just for management purposes, going into more of the co-living strategy, but I will not turn down any oceanfront properties. So anything in this building, I'm already familiar with the building and how the operations work, the rentals, etc. So I will continue to take advantage of these, and then moving into the lending business.
Why would you want to get rid of your long-term rentals?
Well, tenant management is just not that great right now.
Okay, so here's a
Cash
good
flow.
question. Here's a good question. I'm getting rid of most of my single-family homes all in general. Like, the only thing I'm doing now, same thing as you, is I've got 15 co-living. But sadly, I have a little over 200 long-term rentals right now. It'll take me 3 years to sell all of them in 1031. So why would I sell all of these? Does that mean that single-family regular rentals was a horrible idea for me? My question is, do you feel like buying those single-family rental properties is what you needed to get to where you are right now? Proof of concept, evidence that you can do hard things, learning that you don't want to do long-term rentals anymore, that then ultimately gave you another stamp of approval to go into co-living. Did you feel like you had to go that route?
Absolutely. I wouldn't trade any of that. The lessons alone is what I consider tuition. Whether I made money, lost sleep, etc., it's just paying tuition. But I also got value out of it and appreciation. But the lessons and the people that I learned, and knowing I didn't want to do that. I thought I wanted 100 doors or 200 doors. I actually don't want that. I want more time and freedom back, and that takes up a lot of time. So moving to things that I can cash flow better with less time and spend more time doing this stuff that we enjoy.
Yeah, that's freaking cool. Yeah, I think my single family portfolio will be limited at 25 total units. And so if I end up buying a new unit, that means my team says we have to sell one in order to buy one. And so we're going to limit ourselves. This will be like 2028 timeframe that I will be down to 25 rentals or less, all co-living, or, I'll either do one of the other things I really enjoy doing is subleasing to a sober living facility.
Yes.
So I literally have no management, just triple net lease or master lease. And then everything else will be bigger stuff. Are you jumping into bigger stuff yet?
I am. We're raising a fund so we can start helping
gosh,
more people within the community fund their deals and follow their dreams, because a lot of people have limitations
you're doing a debt
to money.
Fund?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, look at this girl, dude. She goes from doing single family regular rentals to now I'm going to go and raise a debt fund to help other people do deals. That's pretty freaking awesome. This is you and Trevor?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, super fun. Yeah, but it all stemmed from the community of being around the people that are doing the things, because then it inspires you to do more things, and then you see other people doing things. It gives you more ideas and how you can help and you can pivot and take advantage of opportunities that are right there in front of your face. So let's talk about the numbers. The seller was planning on listing this property for $725,000. They came to me several times and asked for an offer. I wasn't prepared to make an offer. I had just recently left my W-2, and my husband had left his W-2 not too much long ago. So we were considered unbankable. This was our dream property and our dream condo. We've always thought we would end up with this one, but maybe in 5 to 10 years. So knowing that they wanted to sell it sooner than we were prepared for was a little bit heartbreaking, but we just didn't think that it was something within our reach. After the last time that they asked us for an offer, they were planning to list the property on Monday. This was a Friday. I said, well, what are the chances? Let's just throw out this bogus offer and see what they say. One of my favorite lines is, the answer is always no unless you ask. So I had to follow through with that, and I had to put out the offer because they weren't going to be able to accept my offer if I didn't even propose it. So that being said, they were planning to list on market for $725,000. I came in with a purchase price of $750,000, no realtor fees, which saved about $50,000 to the seller. So that alone right there is a $75,000 gain on their side. No inspection period, no financing or appraisal contingencies whatsoever, and a quick close. This was also beneficial because the condo world was really starting to slow down on sales because of the condo that had sunk in South Florida. Condo sales completely slowed down, and I think that there was about 60 to 70% on market, and they were sitting on market for about 7 to 8 months. So me being able to come in and offer a really quick sale with none of those contingencies was super attractive. The seller was also retiring from his school teacher career, so I was able to offer monthly payments that subsidized his income from his W-2 when he was going to retire. He's using that money to play golf, which is also another big perk for him. The other seller, the wife, was a CPA, so she was very familiar with the deferred capital gains. So that was an attractive piece for her as well, because she saved a lot of money on the capital gains piece on that. So the sellers really benefited from my offer. And me, I benefited because I have an oceanfront property with zero of my own money into this, and I get to retire here when I get to that point. So I did a hybrid offer on this. So it involved 3 pieces. We have a subject to the current mortgage of $300,000 at 3% interest, and I did a seller finance of $300,000 at 0% interest, as well as brought in a private money lender for my down payment of $150,000. Again, that leaves me out with none of my own money and an affordable property that I am renting short term in Jacksonville Beach. So I have the cash flow and the depreciation, appreciation. Somebody else's cash flow is paying down my mortgage. And another major benefit is the short-term rental loophole. As a fix and flipper in Jacksonville, Florida, I have to pay a lot of taxes. So getting creative and having a short-term rental to do some additional depreciation on that saves me a ton of money on my taxes as well. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. So I had known the sellers here because we already had a property within this area. So we had known each other a little bit, and they knew that we were investors. So that's why he brought the money to me. So always talk about what you do, because you don't know who's ready to sell, who has an aunt, an uncle, a neighbor that might be in distress or might just be looking for some sort of offer to save time, make things easy on them, etc. And then my private money lender is part of the community. Again, community is everything. You cannot do this business alone. Network, tell people what you do, partner with people. Everyone has something unique to offer, and people are wanting to get into business and do business with people. Power of the people, that is what this community is all about. We charge between $300 and $400 on average. So this property brings in around $9,000 per month, and combined with all of our payments, we're looking around $6,500. So we have a heavy cash flow here on this property.
Guys, if you haven't seen proof that an Ohio girl can move out to Florida and make big things happen, you must have skipped the whole entire video. Mandy, where can people find you?
On Instagram and Facebook at Mandy Konecki.
Okay, so Mandy Konecki over here taking over all of Jacksonville. Are you gonna move to the Bahamas one day?
Oh, that's a possibility.
Okay.
A little bit of ways out, but it's a possibility.
So what are you working on next 12 to 24 months? What are your biggest things that you're working on?
So I am continuing to fix and flip, so send me any distressed properties that you come about. I also focus heavily on creative finance, so I have solutions for people that don't have equity in their properties. And I am currently launching co-living as well as a fund, so I can help others follow their dreams, because money shouldn't be an issue.
Here's the thing about a fund that you guys should understand when you're listening. A fund sounds like so unattainable, and you're like, oh my gosh, Mandy's launching a fund. Oh my gosh, I'll never be able to do that. First and foremost, you don't want to. Secondly, you can just jump into her fund. That's the way that you make things happen. If I could have started my real estate journey 10 years prior, this is what I would have done. I would have just gone to people that are fix and flippers or people that are launching funds and I would have put 10, 20, 50, 100, $200,000 in their projects, the amount of money that I spent on stupid shit in my life that I could have easily just put 50 grand or 100 grand into somebody else's fund and participated in what they were doing, my learning curve would have been way faster, way higher. My confidence in myself would have gone way faster because I'd be receiving mailbox money. She finds the deals, she funds the deals, she underwrites the deals, and you don't have to do anything but be her partner by placing capital in her fund. That's insane. So if you want to be a part of a fund, reach out to this gal. Again, Instagram?
Mandy Konecki.
Mandy Konecki. Ohio, we're waiting for you out here. You guys can all leave that state anytime you want. Come on out to Jacksonville. See you guys later.